Hi guys, welcome back to Shelby and the Book Club. It has been so long since I have read a book, since I have come on here and hung out with you guys, since I've given you a TBR video or anything like that. It has been so long. If you watch the vlogs, you know that life has been lifing, but we are back. So if you would like to hear what I plan to read for the month of September. Can you believe it's September? I feel like every month when I do this, I say the same thing. Can you believe that it is the month that it is? Where is the time going? It is flying out of here. But if you would like to hear what I plan to read for the month of September, then stay tuned. Before we get to that, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my updates. Especially now because I will be posting consistently again. I'm back, y'all. I promise I'm back. So if you would like to hear it, here it goes. Y'all, when I tell you life has been lifing, um, I just within the last few weeks have been able to start reading again, like avidly, and like be excited about it. So there are some review videos coming. So with that said, this TBR stack is very ambitious because I have the spark. It's been lit. All I want to do is read, and it feels so good to be able to be back and doing the things that I love to do. Um, Excuse me. So first, let's start off with the book club pick for the month of September, which is Other Names for Love by Tamor Sumru. I believe that's how you pronounce it. If I'm mispronouncing it, please correct me. But this is about a boy named Fahad whose father wants to take him out to the countryside of Pakistan and kind of teach him how to be a man. And he brings this other boy with him by the name of I forget. I think Ali. I think he brings this boy named Ali with them in hopes that this boy will also kind of teach his son how to be manly. And I think the two boys end up falling in love with each other. So I am super excited to read that. It sounds really really good. I think it's gonna be good. I had to turn the diffuser back on because a girl is all about scents lately. If you would like to know what I put in my diffuser, let me know because I will share that with you. So next on the list, again, all of these are hopeful. I don't know that I'm going to read every last one of these. I've kind of added extra to give myself space to DNF something if that happens, right? Because you never know. And I hate, especially because I have so many books. I love shopping for books, don't get me wrong. But whenever I encounter like a DNF, what happens is I get a bunch of anxiety about it. And then I can't pick something else to read. And then I just be sitting there. So I like to give myself a bunch of options in my TBRs. So there's that. So next we have Honey and Spice. I actually received this arc. This is by Bolu Babalola. I received this arc a couple of months ago, right when life started to whoop my ass, so I never got a chance to read it. But I have been seeing a whole bunch of great things about this on Book Talk, on Black Book Talk to be specific, because white Book Talk, they only be talking about Colleen Hoover books, and we don't do that over here. Nothing against Colleen Hoover, but we read diversely over here. So it says, sharp-tongued and secretly soft-hearted, Kiki Banjo has just made a huge mistake. As an expert in relationship evasion and the host of a popular student radio show, Brown Sugar, she's made it her mission to make sure the women of the African Caribbean Society at Whitewell College do not fall into the mess of situationships, players, and heartbreak. But the queen of the unbothered kisses Malachi Karodi, the guy she just publicly denounced as the waste man of Whitewell in front of everyone on campus. She finds her show and her reputation on the brink. They're soon embroiled in a fake relationship to try to salvage their reputations and save their futures. Kiki has never surrounded her surrendered her heart before, and a player like Malachi won't be the one to change that, no matter how charming he is or how electric their connection feels. I wanted to add something light to my pile because I have been reading things that are quite heavy, but you guys will see my wrap up video for the month of August in a few. Next on the list, we have The Monsters We Defy. This one is by Leslie Penelope. Funny story. Whenever I see Penelope, I pronounce it Penelope. So this one, Clara Johnson can talk to spirits. I think I talked about this book in a like black fantasy that I want to read video that I did, I think. But it says Clara Johnson can talk to spirits, a gift that saved her during her darkest moments, now a curse that's left her indebted to the cunning spirit world. So when a powerful spirit offers her an opportunity to gain her freedom, Clara seizes the chance, no question asked. The task: steal a magical ring from the wealthiest woman in the district. So I've been wanting to read this. You guys also know how I feel about black women being on book covers. I think this is absolutely beautiful, and I'm always going to buy it every time. Next, we have something that's been like staring me down on my bookshelf. This is Post Traumatic by Chantel V. Johnson, who is a woman of color, by the way. Even though the woman on top, I mean, that could be a woman of color. Now that I think about it, she could very much be a woman of color. So this one says, the outside observer, Vivian is a success story, a dedicated lawyer who advocates for mentally ill patients at the New York City Psychiatric Hospital. Privately, Vivian contends with the memories and the after effects of her bad childhood, compounded by the everyday stresses of being a black Latinx woman in America. She lives in a constant state of hypervigilant awareness that makes even a simple subway ride a heart-pounding drama. I think this one is gonna be good. It's just been one of those books that's been like on my bookshelf for a while. I really wanted to read it ever since like I saw it. I kind of grabbed that very impromptu at a local bookstore that I go to often, and I've been wanting to read it ever since, and I just never got around to it. So now that I'm, I want to put it to the top of the pile. This one you guys should not be surprised about. You made a fool of beauty. No, you made a fool of death with your beauty. My bad. I could read, I promise. By Akwaeke Emezi. You guys know that I absolutely loved The Death of Vivek OG. I absolutely love that book. I think it is powerful. I think it is one of those books that I think everyone should read. I think it is thought-provoking. I think it is heart-wrenching. Everyone should read that book. So I am super excited to read their romance, their romance novel. I hate when I misgender people. I've heard amazing things about this book. Super amazing things about this book. And again, something else that is light and airy with all of the very heavy things that I've been reading lately. So there that is. And I heard that this one opens up with the smut. So it says, Faye Adekola wants to learn how to be alive again. It's been 5 years since the accident that killed the love of her life, and she's almost a new person now, an artist with her own studio, sharing a brownstone apartment with her ride-or-die best friend Joy, who insists that it's time for Faye to ease back into the dating scene. Faye isn't ready for anything serious, but a steamy encounter at a rooftop party cascades into a whirlwind summer she could never have imagined. A luxury trip to a tropical island, decadent meals in a glamorous home of a celebrity chef, and a major curator who wants to launch her art career. So I've heard amazing things about this book. I cannot wait to read it. And again, I love Akwaeke Emezi. They are one of the authors that when I see that they have something out, I'm just gonna go and buy it. Next we have What the Fireflies Knew by Kai Harrison. This was actually on my June TBR and I just never got around to it. There are so many things that I attempted to read and I did not finish. And this can go on the list of one of those things like I attempted to start but I didn't finish. So it says, an ode to black girlhood and adolescence as seen through KB's Eyes. What the Fireflies Knew follows KB after her father dies of an overdose, and the debts incurred from his addiction cause the loss of the family home in Detroit. Soon thereafter, KB and her teenage sister Nia are sent by their overwhelmed mother to live with their estranged grandfather in Lansing, Michigan. Over the course of a single sweltering summer, KB attempts to navigate a world that has been turned upside down. I love a family story. I love a saga of sorts. I mean, that's not long enough to be a saga, but I'm all for those kind of stories. I want to know, what made your mama a hoe? That's the kind of stuff. This is another one that I believe was on my June TBR. She Would Be King by Wayetu Moore. I believe that's how that's pronounced. Again, correct me if need be. So this one, again, I wanted to read it. It was on another TBR, right? But then I started following someone on TikTok. I cannot remember her name, but if I remember, I will put something on the screen. And she's reading across Africa. She's trying to read books from every country in Africa. And I thought that was so freaking cool. And this was one of the books, and she posted about it a lot. I don't remember exactly what she said, but she posted about it a lot, and it made me remember that I have it on my bookshelf. So here we are wanting to read this. So it says, in the West African village of Lay, red-haired Jabessa is cursed at birth and exiled on suspicion of being a witch. Bitten by a viper and left for dead, she nevertheless survives. On a plantation in Virginia, Junde hides his unusual strength until a confrontation with the overseer forces him to flee. And in the Blue Mountains of Jamaica, Norman Argan, the child of a white British colonizer and a maroon slave, can fade from sight at will, just as his mother. So it seems like it's going to be an interesting story, and that there are some touches of like magical realism, which I enjoy. I like all of the magic and so on and so forth. Next on the list, which these next two are actually the next three, what I plan to start and read this week. So this is Take My Hand by Dolan Perkins Valdez. This one is about Sybil Townsend, who is a nurse, and she encounters something. It has to do with birth control for children, but it ends up black children, I should say, in particular, which makes her a little upset just because they're in a poor neighborhood. They're deemed to need birth control. And then I guess history repeats itself later on with a situation with her daughter. So I think it's going to be one of those books that kind of goes back and forth between her life and her daughter's life. Y'all know I love a story that goes back and forth. And I don't often read stories that have to do with anything medical. So this is outside of something that I would normally pick up. So I'm super excited to read this. So this is what I think I'll be starting tonight, to be honest. Next, we have Afterlives by Abdul Razik Gurnah. And this is actually a winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature, which is really cool. So this one says, when he was just a boy, Elias was stolen from his parents on the coast of East Africa by German colonial troops. After years away fighting against his own people, he returns home to find his parents gone and his sister Afia little more than a slave to another family. Hamza too returns home from the war, scarred in body and soul, and with nothing but the clothes on his back, until he meets the beautiful, undaunted Afia. As these young people live, work, and fall in love, their fates knotted ever more tightly together, the shadow of a new war on another continent falls over them, threatening once again to carry them away. It sounds interesting. I want to read more books that have won awards. I feel like in my mind I have made it that, those books are for certain type of people to read, and I want to take that out of my mind. Books are for everybody. You don't have to be an educator or a student to read certain types of books. You can read whatever you want to read, whenever you want to read it, however you decide to read it, as long as you're reading diversely. That is not a choice. So this I picked up one because the cover of it is beautiful and that stood out to me. But when I saw that it was a Nobel Prize winner, I was like, oh, I want to read that because I want to do better at learning what these book awards are, what the qualifiers are for them, what kind of books win these awards, so on and so forth. And then last but not least, I didn't want to talk about this book because the author was nasty and kind of show her ass here on the interwebs. So I don't know that I'll be putting this one on the shop. I don't know what that was that fell, but it did. Or maybe I think it already is in the bookstore because this came out a while ago and I've wanted to read it. But yeah, the author was kind of nasty to someone like myself that's a content creator, that didn't give her a bad review, just didn't agree or didn't say something that the author didn't like, and then the author was doing whatever. But someone, well, I'm saying someone, like I can't just say her name. My friend Dawn Shay said that this reminded her or put her in the mind of a book that she and I are reading together for a buddy read, called Perish. And it made me want to read it because I thoroughly enjoy Perish. So this is Memphis by Tara M. Stringfellow. Yeah, we'll see. It seems to be a short one. It's about a family. So it says summer 1995. 10-year-old Joan, her mother, and her young sister flee her father's explosive temper and seek refuge in her mother's ancestral home in Memphis. This is not the first time violence has altered the course of the family's trajectory. A half a century earlier, Joan's grandfather built this majestic house in the historic black neighborhood of Douglas, only to be lynched days after, becoming the first black homicide detective in the city. Joan tries to settle into her new life, but family secrets cast a longer shadow than any of them expected. So yeah, I want to read it. I bought it because I want to read it. I just don't know how much press I'm going to give it outside of this particular video, because you're not going to be nasty to people that's trying to help you push your book, girl. That ain't going to work around here. But that is all that I plan to read for the month of September. We'll see how many I get through. If I get through all of them, that would be really nice. Like I said, I'm giving myself options so that I'm not scrambling just in case I DNF something. You know, we got to think all options. We got to think everything. We got to think everything over here. So if you have made it this far in the video, I want you to put a bell emoji in the comments. I don't know why a bell. Maybe a bell because you need to hit the bell notification so you can see every time I post a new video. But without further ado, it is good to be back. If no one has told you today, I love you. You are kind. You are smart. You are, in fact, important to me. So I will talk to you guys soon, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.